This podcast contains potentially adult language, adult themes, definitely drinking, and possibly sexual context. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Drinking with Authors, the literary briefs edition, where we all run around in our bras and underwear squealing about Tolkien. Woo! Just kidding. Woo.
Every
Were you
time.
Just waiting for your cue to do woo?
Yes, every time.
Yeah, that was not the appropriate woo thing. But anyway, I'm your host, Erica Lance. My co-host is the amazing Valerie Willis, and our guest today is the infallible J.M. Paquette. Do you like that? Ooh,
oh, serious.
Ooh. Okay. Our sponsor today is Skunk Brothers Spirits. DWA10 is the coupon code. Check them out. Veteran owned. They're amazing brothers. Moonshine. What are we drinking today? Well, unfortunately, I had to have some kidney stones removed, and they won't let me drink alcohol with these painkillers. So I am drinking apple juice out of my Drinking with Authors cup. I would normally put the apple pie brandy in it, but again, apparently that's frowned upon or something like that, as do not worsen the health of the human. Val, what are you drinking?
To be fair, I am drinking freshly made sweet tea. I'm very happy with it.
Oh, I'm glad you're happy with it. I had great concern of whether or not the beverage choice you made was applicable for you. Oh, and JM here is doing a good Vanna White of what?
I'm drinking bubbly sparkling water. It's lime and it's quite good.
I love bubbly. So I had a whole thought today of all this sparkling water here. I have like 4 different flavors. And then I realized I didn't talk to the urologist about whether or not I could drink sparkling water. I don't know if it affects you at all. So I was like,
it depends on the flavoring, if it's in it or not. Because so COVID wrecked my taste. So now I can only drink non-sweet things. So yeah, bubbly, even different flavors of bubbly have different things in them. I just didn't do that. I have some Pellegrino, tangerine, and I have some super fancy water. I just have bubbly.
Well, you have that orange juice stuff.
Oh, I have Orangina. I almost grabbed Orangina to drink, but I was feeling lime instead of orange.
It's like a mimosa without the champagne.
Yeah, no, I've had Orangina before. I'm just saying I just didn't know from kidney stone wise whether or not I was allowed to drink bubbly water. It's inquiring minds want to know. And I was like, I'm going to wait till my follow-up to ask that question. I'm not allowed to drink tea right now. I'm so mad about that on so many levels.
Sorry. That's terrible.
Terrible. It's horrific.
But you also make kidney boulders, so I understand why.
I do apparently. Hellbop comment coming through again. Okay, so this is rapid fire questions. I know, okay. I'm so excited because you're usually on the giving, not the receiving end. Ooh.
I can ask these.
I know, so now we need to ask some of you. What has been your favorite book in the last 2 years?
Oh, in the last 2 years, that's a different question.
I know, because you were already asked the other one because you've been on the show before.
Damn it. You know what? My favorite book in the last 2 years, I discovered an author named Annette Marie, and I love her. She's got a bunch of series, but the first one is 3 Mages and a Margarita, which is wonderful. It's an introduction to the characters. But my favorite book of hers that does take place in that world is Taming Demons for Beginners, which is further on in that story. And it is wonderful. It's a slow burn romance about demons. And I just finished writing a series about demons. So demons all the way.
Very cool. What is the least favorite book you've read in the last 2 years?
In the last 2 years, I can't even talk about Virginia Woolf. I don't know. I have Kindle Unlimited, so I used to always finish books, but now because they're free, I just will stop reading. So I have read you know, where it recommends it because it's similar to, and all of my covers in my library all look exactly the same because I read the same genre over and over. But I have read, I don't remember the specific name. I don't remember names of books anymore because when you're digital, it brings you right to the chapter 1. So I'm like, I don't even remember who wrote this. But I did read a book where the writing in it was less than thrilling, and I really wanted to like it because the premise was interesting. It was like a witch with, there was a haunted house. It was a lot of fun, but I just couldn't get past the errors.
Yes, use an editor out there if you're going to publish a piece of fiction. Please and thank you. What is your favorite book to movie or TV show?
Book to movie TV show. I feel like I'm cheating if I say Lord of the Rings because I do really like that. You know what? Magicians. And all right, I like the show more than the books, but I think that was a fun way of changing things up when they sort of shifted it.
And on the flip side, what is your least favorite adaptation? There's been a lot lately.
Yeah. See, I always look at the show as a different entity. So I'm not the person who gets mad like, oh, this is totally different. I take it as its own thing.
I got a good one then.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
What character was cast in a TV show or movie that you were like, they totally fucked up this casting?
See, this is where you tell me I'm too nice.
You're too nice, Jen.
Yeah, like my brain is going, even casting Keanu Reeves as Constantine in Constantine that wasn't Constantine at all was still fine because that movie was decent on its own, even though it wasn't Constantine. Like, I don't, you know what? I will say this, that I like that movie. I will say this, I love Outlander and all things Outlander, but I do not enjoy the character of Brianna. I didn't like her in the books and I still do not enjoy her in the show. So it's not the casting that bothers me, but she's perfect at everything and she's annoying. Sorry if you like Brianna.
Okay, stop being super nice. Okay, Val, what's your question? And if you're done chewing potato chips during our podcast here.
I'm done. I'm trying to time it just right. Otherwise, I get in trouble with you.
That's because we drink on this podcast. We don't eat potato chips, but continue on.
Dang it. Okay, so you write paranormal romance. You love reading paranormal romance. What is one of your favorite paranormal creatures you've encountered, either reading or writing, that whether it's a vampire or, I know at one point you were geeking out over a fox spirit. Like, what has been your favorite creature in the last 2 years that you've encountered?
I love the demon Zailas in Annette Marie's book. He is delightful when it's a 4-book spread and he gets summoned, and then you watch him like transition from a demon who has like no idea of morality, and the character tries to like pull it. She's disappointed in him whenever, because at one point she's like, imagine you're in the woods and you see a woman pinned under a tree. Would you rescue her? And he's like, do I know her? Will she do anything for me? Is she a trap? And she's like, no, well, wouldn't you? No, you don't know her. It's totally random. And he's like, no, I wouldn't rescue her. And she's like, but why? And he's like, why would I? So just watching him go from a character who like didn't understand why he should have empathy to sort of growing, that was a lot of fun. And my demons in my story are similar.
Oh. What is that noise? What were you
we were all woeing.
Yeah, you were woeing an awful lot there, Val.
It was like a dog barks and then another dog barks back. I was just barking back.
Okay. You can ask another question, weirdo.
Okay. Crap. All right. So why have you chosen dragons as your next big thing?
because I'm obsessed with I Am Dragon, and it was a movie that I watched. I'm learning Russian. That's what it is. I'm watching my Russian movie and learning random phrases in Russian. No, it was something different because I've been playing with witches, demons, vampires for a while. So I was like shifters, and I have a fun, like cool concept character that's mentioned in this series that I wanted to play with a little bit more. So dragons.
What is one that you're just like, this is terrible? Like,
what, a shifter that's terrible?
Yeah, like, or any paranormal character, you're like, this is just bad.
I'm not a huge fan of the like alpha werewolf thing because wolves work together as a pack. So I'm always like, it wouldn't. There's a meme floating around that I saw where they were like, the alpha would have snacks, like the alpha would bring food for everybody. That's who your alpha is. So when I read those books where, you know, the main character is like, oh, but I'm so weak and pathetic and I just need you to save me. I also don't like books where the main character is like, I'm not worthy. I stopped reading a book on Kindle where this dude, it was a vampire, but still, like, dude goes out of his way to like help her, save her, and she the entire time is just like, I'm not worthy, I don't know why you're with me, I'm not worthy. I was like, it's book 2, like, you're worthy, get over it. So I don't like characters who don't appreciate their self-worth. Like, I'll take some character growth, but you hit a point where I'm like, you need another like story element to move this forward.
I see. Okay, well, I have a question. So they're remaking Interview with the Vampire.
No, I'm excited. I like new remakes. I will probably love it no matter what, because I'll be like, it's a new thing. It's its own thing. Like the movie was a new thing. It was its own thing. It wasn't the book, and that's fine.
Okay.
I got a question. Who is your favorite Anne Rice vampire?
I liked Marius. Marius was always like cool, distant. Yeah, Marius. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Damn, I haven't thought about that in a while.
I know.
I just re-listened to Interview with the Vampire because unfortunately Anne Rice has left us in this world, or at least physically speaking. And I thought it was really, really interesting because Louis is way more whiny than I remembered.
Oh my God, he's so whiny.
He is super. That's his character, and that he's human. He complains. That's his ability. That's his special power.
Yes,
that
exactly.
He connects. He's
I'm
a
like,
super
oh
minor.
my God, this is terrible.
My favorite was always Armand. I don't know why, but something about Armand was just like the name, everything was just clicked in place.
I always I know reading the books, he's like a 16-year-old kid, but I still see Antonio Banderas when I think of Armand from the movie. And it like that disconnect was always a little bit weird. Also, all right, talking about Anne Rice. So she wrote an entire book, the Armand book, where she talks about a piece of music. And when I read it, it was before the internet. And in order for me to listen to that piece of music, because I didn't know what it was, I had to go to the library and find it on like a tape and play it. And the entire book revolved around that piece of music. So warning for authors, don't write a book about a piece of music that your audience may never have the opportunity to listen to, because I missed, like I didn't fully experience that book because I didn't know what the arpeggio and whatever it was, Armand's song.
You didn't end up going and looking?
I did eventually. I went to the library and I found it on a cassette tape, and a librarian helped me play it. Like that. I know today I could just Google it.
I was going to say, listen, you didn't happen to make reference to when you actually went to the library.
It was microfiche.
So,
like.
And of course, knowing it, the cool thing about like Spotify and some of these others is you can get like codes and URLs to send people to the music or a playlist. True. So speaking of music, how does music impact your writing?
Look at you jumping into questions.
If I listen to sexier music, I have sexier scenes. I don't. Thanks, Val, who has the best playlists ever. So if she puts on a Honey Coming scenes, my characters start touching faces. There's long looks and leaning in. So I'm definitely influenced by the type of music that I'm listening to in terms of the scene that I'm writing. which is probably why my characters make left turns all the time. They're like, no, I'm gonna have a sandwich. Like,
because the $5 footlong commercials come on.
right? They're just like, we're doing a thing. No, we're not. We're not doing that thing.
We
You don't have the right music on.
To $5 supplement.
There it is.
Never
Done.
You guys are terrible together. I'm surprised you'd actually get anything done.
We do.
We're super efficient.
I know you guys are super efficient. I'm just surprised. So let's talk about what your like writing Achilles heel is.
I don't know where to end a story. I start a story and I'm like, it's just a baby story. It's a 25K, it's a 50, it's 100,000 words. Maybe I should just make it 2 books.
And now it's a trilogy.
Or now it's a trilogy. Or damn it, maybe it should just be, no, it's not over yet. As Val told me, she's like, Jen, it's not over yet. You're gonna have more
keep me
books.
close. She's like, well, no, I want to talk about this. I'm like, that's another book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she's like, but I was supposed to end the series here. I'm like, what ending to what's like, this is not a trilogy. This is like open-ended and you can jump characters. You introduced all this world building. You have a spin-off dragon shifter thing coming down the line. Like,
well, the cool thing about if you write a good series, you can write multi-series off of the series and short stories off the series. And, you know, very few series actually end. It's evident because people bring people back. I think a true, great, amazing writer, regardless if you want to write the series anymore, and I'm not arguing that, but any writer, leave yourself an opening. Because when, you know, how many series have we seen that people were like, I'm just writing the 3 of these. And then there's such a fan outcry that they're like, okay, I'll write another one. So this person wasn't really dead. Their spirit was trapped in a bottle. And, you know,
Arthur Conan Doyle. I think fans burned his house down when he killed Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
And then he had to be like, he lived. He fell off a waterfall, but he's fine. And is raising bees now.
Yeah. Like, you have to make up shit. So just don't do that. Leave it open-ended. You know, you can try to wrap up the story with a bow, but leave it open-ended. I think that's important as a writer. So whether it's 1 book or you're on the 5th book or you're on the 25th book, don't write 25 books if you don't have anywhere to go with the story, though, please. So Val, what's your next question?
Oh, I didn't know I'd get any more questions because I feel like I've used up all my quarters.
Have you done this show before? Like, you have. What is wrong with you?
I'm sober this time, so it's like it's pulling from a totally different side of the brain, and it's like the first time it's seen the script.
It's weird because Erica has more than 3 questions. So
okay. We've talked about Tolkien. We've talked about Stephen King. I know this about you, but they don't know. You love KDramas.
I do. I do.
What genre of K-dramas speak your language the most? And which one would you say in the last 2 years that we've watched since we've last time seen you on the podcast has been your favorite so far?
I'm thinking out of the ones that I've seen, so I'm dipping my toes in K-drama. I've only seen a handful of them. I really like the goofy period pieces, like the Mr. Queen, which has time travel, but the King's Affection. I like the gender bending. That's always fun. But I love that time period. So I enjoy, like, we watched Black, which was a lot of fun and a really cool concept, but more modern. I like more of the historical. So historical with what passes for romance, which is a long look in like episode 8 and maybe a hand touch in like episode 15.
Then the kiss at the season finale.
There won't be a kiss. There will just be a turning away, or her hair will brush his face or something. Like, it's super subtle, which is funny because I read, Paranormal Romance, which is not subtle. So.
Well, is there any tropes in like Paranormal Romance, for instance, that you're like, no, this is dumb, I hate this?
I don't like she's a virgin and she stays with him forever. I like you know, I like the ones where I love love triangles. So I like both potential partners. I don't like the, you know, you start with one and the other is a temptation, but she never goes there. Like that I don't like. I want her to explore her options so she knows that she's making the right choice.
So which would you like? Okay, out of that trope that you like, you said you like love triangles. Would you prefer a love triangle or a reverse harem? Because I know that's a hot item these days.
I like the love triangle. I like just the two. I know in KDramas, there's always, most of the ones I've seen are reverse harem, and they're interesting. But I feel like you're going to lose character development because there's too many people. So, I mean, I'll read them, but
too many cash and prizes all about the place.
There's a lot of hands all over the place. I mean, it's okay, but I want to know the tortured backstory of character A and character B.
So who is your like favorite, if you were to pick from Paranormal Romance and you had to pick one werewolf character, who's your favorite werewolf?
Alcide from True Blood.
TV show or book?
I liked him in the book. I didn't mind him in the show, but the show took a hard left, which is fine because I got to watch like fun characters behave in totally new ways, which I really liked about True Blood because I didn't want them to follow the book and kill Lafayette.
I fucking hated the book. Moving on.
Yeah, I mean, I read all the books. I really liked them. I wasn't super thrilled with the ending, but I understood it. It made sense. But I was always Team Alcide. Like once he entered the picture in the book and in the show, I was like, that's, you know, now you've experienced other things and you know what you like. He's the guy for you, Sookie.
You weren't a Northman?
I was Northman is only nice when he's not himself. So he could never truly be himself and be with her. So I don't know, I thought it was definitely fun, and I'm glad that she had that experience, but at the same time I was like, but you don't love him, you love the him that he is when he's not being Eric Northman.
Yeah, no, it's true. What about what is your favorite vampire in any series?
Oh God, can I just say Hannah, my own? I love her. No, I have to pick. That's cheating, right? All right. Yeah. Favorite vampire. Can I say Damon from Vampire Diaries, the books? Because he in the show they redeem him and everything, but in the books I liked Damon. I was Team Damon.
He's just he reminds me of the modern version of Spike. He's unapologetically owns being a vampire.
Yeah.
And because of that element, he's a fun character. Is he really a villain when he just owns what he is?
Mm-hmm.
It's that whole gray
area. I would put Spike as a close second. I liked him too. I wasn't big for the angel type of like tortured. No. Spike was like, this is what I am and it's fine.
Do you have a favorite Paranormal Romance coupling that you like best?
Ooh.
Look at me. I found a really good one.
Who do I love? Without spoiling.
Oh. It's okay to spoil.
If it's okay to spoil, it would be Raman and Zailas from Anemari's books. Those are really, really fun. That they're a great couple, but it takes a very long time to get there.
Okay.
Slow burn or insta love?
No, super slow burn. Like kiss in fourth book kind of slow burn.
Oh, that's way too fucking slow for
that's
me.
Way too
maybe third book, the end of the third book, but like super awkward, accidental, fumbling.
I'm more of even as a writer, I'm more of there better be a dual meaning to happy ending.
I do too. It was surprising because it was a slow burn. Like the characters and the world building and the like plot mystery, all of that kept me entertained, even though the romance reader in me was waiting for the romance. But even if it hadn't happened, I was still satisfied with the story, which is surprising because normally if I read just a regular romance or a regular mystery, I'm bored.
Well, we don't want you to be bored. And I can tell that Val is almost out of chips too for this particular podcast.
What?
So
she's got a bag.
Yeah.
A bag. I'm
okay.
Good.
There's so many things I
feel like a child
right
and that I'm in trouble every time I'm on a podcast with Erica.
I just thought of my favorite couple, but they're not paranormal. I love Fry and Leela from Futurama. I think they're a wonderful couple, and they take 8 seasons. So the Futurama's coming back, by the way. Just saying.
My favorite episode is the time that he's at like the spaceport truck stop, and he eats the egg sandwich from and
he gets smart with the worms.
And he gets smart and buff and healthy with the worms. And she's like, and Leela's like distraught because she doesn't know if she loves Fry or the worms.
She loves the worms. Yep. Good stuff. It's a fun show. I love Futurama.
It's actually a very well written show. Some of these cartoons are so well written. You know, in truth, I also say go back and watch cartoons that you used to watch when you were a kid, because they're a whole different cartoon when you go watch them again.
He-Man.
Yes. So many undertones in that bad boy. Should have known from the purple spandex, very much like we should have recognized George Michael. But alas, presented the wrong way. Okay, so let's talk about shameless self-promotion, my friend.
You can find me at authorjmpaquette.com. I am on Twitter as at authorjmp or editor jmp13. And I'm also on Instagram. And I think that's it.
And you can subscribe to your newsletter?
Yeah, I have a newsletter on my website.
Yeah, you do. And the next book coming out?
Is Keep Me Close, which is the 3rd installment in the Conjuring Fascination series. So if you enjoy demons and vampires and the witches galore, love triangle, good stuff. Check it out. Keep Me Close.
Very, very cool. Well, thank you, #1 guest ever, for being back on the podcast again. Very cool. As a guest, not a host, as a guest. And this has been Drinking with Authors, the Literary Briefs edition. My co-host has been the chip-chomping Val Willis. Our sponsor today has been Skunk Brothers Spirits, coupon code DWA10. Check them out. All of their stuff is thoroughly amazing. When you don't have kidney stones, you should enjoy those libations. And our guest, again, has been the phenomenal J.M. Paquette, and we will see you guys next time.